All right. So, being a CRA was one way, and then we had the pandemic that happened kind of in the middle of it. So, what kind of changes did you notice from pre-pandemic to being in the pandemic? And we still are at the recording of this.
Yeah, so my situation was pretty interesting because the prior company I was with, they really wanted to keep me on board. However, they didn't really have any work for me because my resourcing was all over the place. And logistically speaking, I was working out of the East Coast, but they had a need for the West Coast. So I was flying before the pandemic to Salt Lake City, Phoenix, LA weekly,
Jesus
staying there.
Christ!
Yeah, it was crazy. And I was
And,
staying there on
and,
site at
and
least 2 to 3 days.
and just to interrupt you real quick, for those that don't know, um, those cities sound amazing on paper to be traveling to a lot, but all that time on the plane every single week, multiple times a week, is not fun. So
Yeah,
go ahead, Eric.
yeah, yeah. So I'll second that. So basically, you're sitting in an airport for a couple hours, maybe an hour, whatever, waiting to take off. Then you have a 3 to 4 hour flight all the way to the West Coast, plus the time difference, which you gain time, but then also when you're coming back is when it's brutal.
Yep.
And then, since I was trying to be a hero back then, since I was new to the grind as a CRA, I was trying to impress. So I was doing like 10 to 12 days on site per month.
Hmm.
So my whole week was getting burnt by travel and being on site. But at the time, my wife now was in PA school. So, you know, and I was also living in Raleigh and just kind of like exploring and seeing other friends and stuff like that. So it wasn't bad. But now that I'm married and I have like a different life and everything, I can't be on the road for 5 days a week.
Yeah.
So that was just crazy. But I was doing that up until the pandemic. I guess I had intentions to eventually cut that off and lower my workload, but that kind of gave me the segue of achieving that. And for about like 8 months, I was literally unbillable. I was like checking in weekly and I was like, hey, is there anything I can do? Like, is there some TMF stuff? And they'd give me like some project specialist, like project manager ended work to do.
Oh dang,
But then
you were even asking for the TMF stuff. That's crazy.
yeah, I didn't want to get furloughed, man. So I kept hearing stories about people getting furloughed. So I was trying to stay busy, but I mean, there were points where they're like, "Yeah, we have nothing. Just keep retaking trainings."
Uh
It
huh.
was like I was like, "Oh wow, okay, like yeah, sure." So I pretty much was just doing all that, and eventually kind of came to like a mutual agreement that I had to leave because I didn't want to. I felt wrong about burning unbillable hours, so I ended up leaving and going to another company. And we left in a mutual, a good standing and everything like that. And when I got to my new company, they actually had me logistically aligned with my region, so I would start driving between Philadelphia, DC, New York,
Oh, can you tell people where you're based, by the way?
currently in Richmond, Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah.
You
So
didn't have to say the city unless you wanted to, but it's
currently in Virginia.
okay.
Just edit that. Chop it up. Chop shop. Uh, yeah. So hit me with that question again. I'll run it back.
Okay. Can you tell us where you're located? Or yeah.
I'm in Virginia.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah. So I was pretty much going from as north as New York to as south as South Carolina, I believe.
You were driving all this?
Yeah. I mean, I wanted to, be billable and I had the opportunity to be local and I didn't want to fly because I still didn't understand COVID. It was a very like odd topic and I didn't want to chance anything before I got vaccinated. So
Right.
I had no problem with driving. I was probably getting maybe like 6 days on site a month, which isn't perfect, but it was really great. They like really appreciated it. That I was actually out there still doing work when a lot of people were still afraid to travel at all.
Right.
So I just rent a car, go to the sites, head back. They were long trips, a lot of driving, but That's pretty much what I was doing. And I was also trying to stay away from remote monitoring because when I first joined the
Oh,
company, we were doing a lot of that. And they're like, if you want to drive, you can avoid this. And I was like, yes, please. Because honestly, remote monitoring is not all it's cracked up to be. It's actually a lot more work because there's so much paperwork and so much back and forth phone calls and emails that you can do way easier on site.
yeah. I couldn't agree
Yeah.
further.
Yeah.
So, so basically, they gave you a situation. You could either go on site. I'm imagining you could fly, but no one wanted to fly at the time. Or you could drive, or you could do remote monitoring.
Yeah.
So